Welcome, everybody, to Tier Force Heroes. It's Gooey, Corey, and Nico here.
Hi, guys.
We're almost in the throes of musical March Madness. It's February still, but next month, it's musical March Madness.
No, we're recording this in March.
We're recording this the day before it comes out.
You know what? Usually they announce that at the site. They haven't announced it. I'm assuming it's happening.
Spoiler alert.
I hope so.
If it's happening, we're getting hyped up for it now.
We're getting hyped up.
I'm doing my best to be intense. This month, our topic is the overworld themes in all the Zelda games. So it's another one where it's a hefty amount of things to rank, but it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be tough because
it is.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Now, let's just do it.
We're gonna be here for 3 hours.
I'm freaking ready. You ready for a totem time? I'm ready.
Oh yes.
Totem time!
Totem time! Hooah! Nice. Good totem.
Solid.
Power totem.
That was a great totem.
Excellent.
Flex afterwards. Beautiful.
All right. Let's just go ahead and start. What's that first one? A Link Between Worlds?
Sure is.
Let's do a Link Between Worlds just because it's right there.
Awesome.
This is kind of a, it's an interpretation of A Link to the Past, and it's got that classic. It's got the classic Zelda tune, and then it's got that sort of low rule version of the Dark World theme.
Yep.
I like this one a lot. It's a great soundtrack, but I feel like there's other songs on this soundtrack that kind of
that's fair.
Overshadow it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because there's like new songs.
Yeah.
While this is a interpretation though of arguably the most iconic theme.
Yeah.
In the series, though, so it's hard to knock it too hard. Where would you rank it? I don't even know where I would put it.
I would go pretty high, I think. Just to clarify, it's kind of like, this we're talking about like two overworld themes, but it's like we're kind of smushing them together as one collective like overworld music, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We're sort of ranking it of, we're thinking of like sort of not just the songs standalone, but the experience of experiencing
music
those songs in the game
while you're in the overworld. Yeah. Something I do like about A Link Between Worlds, and like it's hard to rival how iconic the original A Link to the Past songs were that it's going off of, like Dark World and the original overworld theme. But something I love about A Link Between Worlds soundtrack is that they do a great job of instrumentation. So, in that main overworld theme, there's a lot of, like, bombastic horns and stuff, and, that's very A Link Between Worlds, and then it's super hard to follow up the Dark World theme, but I think they do an excellent job of kind of, for the low rule theme, they take the same tune, but instead of making it super epic, they kind of make it a little more gritty and a little more fun, a little more, like, jam bandy.
There's,
like, some acoustic guitar and, like...
It's very jammy.
Feels a little bit more, a little more upbeat, a little more like, all right, this is fun.
I'm listening to it right now. It's like,
and
I love
something I want to give slight bonus points to. Both of these versions of the overworld theme and of the low rule theme, there are alternate versions for one when you're about to go get. Right after you get the Master Sword, the theme changes to one that's a little bit more epic and triumphant. And same thing for in Low Rule, after you beat all the dungeons and you're about to go to Low Rule Castle, it plays like a more epic and bombastic horn version that's like, all right, I'm ready to go.
It's like closer
fight
to
the big baddie.
They do.
Yeah, yep.
This game does a fantastic job of really making you feel like you are in an epic adventure for being on a 3DS. Like, it feels so big for being literally so small. So
I wanna throw it out there in terms of overworld music, just those two and the bonus points and the fact that they followed up, they had giant shoes to fill and they did a good job. I want to say A. That's my pitch.
I was going to say A.
I'm down with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
I think it's a great choice. Also, every time we talk about A Link Between Worlds, I want to replay it. And I just don't. I need to replay
awesome.
it. It's just so good.
An amazing game.
I started it like a year ago when we were talking about it once, and then I think I started playing something else, but I just need to pick it back up. I love it.
Okay. Let's do next. Let's go Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask, cool.
Let's go. Yeah, what do you guys think of Majora's Mask? And I kind of like the main one that comes to my head is obviously Termina Field.
Sure.
Which I love.
I feel like that's it, but
would you include like when you get to each area before you've cured it of whatever is ailing that region, it plays that really creepy overworld theme? Are we including that or no?
You could.
Would you count that?
Yeah.
Because I kind of hate that track because it freaks me out. It's very fitting, but it's horrible to listen to.
It is. See, what's interesting, even though it's technically not Overworld, is I very much view Clocktown as part of the Overworld, but I think most people would argue that it is technically not the Overworld.
I would want to include it, but I don't think it's fair to count it because it's like a specific location.
I think if we had Clocktown, if we had Clocktown as the Overworld, I would throw this up to S because Clocktown is some of the best music ever. Like it's so good.
Like, well, I pretty much agree with you both. Like, yeah, it's like you do spend like a majority of the game there, but it almost feels unfair to include Clocktown.
Yeah, I don't think we should. I think we should say Clocktown is not included in this.
Okay.
Termina Field and Night and Day, and like, I guess like the main
like those the cursed theme.
The like. Yeah, no, I can hear it in my head, but it's like
we don't need to really factor that in as much. Termina Field is kind of the main thing. I kind of like that song actually.
Also,
I'm just gonna say for my ranking in my head, I'm including both of them, but it kind of balances it out a little bit because I don't like that cursed one. However, it is fitting and it goes away. And on the flip side, Termina Field, this might surprise you guys, but Termina Field is actually one of my favorite iterations of the main Overworld theme in the whole series.
I would agree.
I feel like it has the perfect tempo, the perfect little lead up, and like it gets me excited.
Coming from a musician standpoint, which like I've been out of music for a long time. Like I went to school for music and I've just kind of like fallen away from it. But like looking at the like music theory of Termina Field is really interesting because they take Hyrule Field theme and they slightly change the key and they string it out so there is no ending, and it kind of just like keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's a little uneasy in the way it's written out because the melody kind of falls off at the end instead of the like triumphant sound of Hyrule Field, and then it goes back into the like boom 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 boom, and it goes back into the theme again, and it makes you feel like something is still not quite right, like something is obviously wrong.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Low Rule Field, that sort of, because it's like it's the theme, but it's a little bit more like playful and a little weird, you know.
It's got the little like xylophone that like
yeah.
I will say though, like overall, as much as I love it, for what it does, it's not like my absolute favorite Overworld theme. Like there's other music I'd much rather listen to.
Goo, where are you suggesting?
I've come to appreciate it more over time. It's not my like favorite interpretation of the main Zelda theme, but I think it's appropriate for the game. But I think compared to the other Overworld themes, it's not one of my favorites necessarily. Though I totally see what you're saying about like what they do with it. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
like the way they interpret it musically. But I don't know. For me, I'd probably put it in like C, but still, like, I don't think it's like a horrible song or anything, you know?
I was gonna say B.
I would say.
Okay.
I was also gonna say B.
That sounds good.
Want to throw it there?
B's cool.
Because like
cool.
music nerd side of me is like, oh, this is interesting. But then every other part of me is like, I mean, it's good. You know, it's very mid for me. It's mid.
It's mid.
Mid.
The unfortunate thing is
from the other video.
Shut up. There's just so much other like better music in the game that is not the overworld music.
Yes,
you know?
that's
a big thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, if Astral Observatory was in there, S. If Clocktown was in there, it's S. But it's not just the overworld. It's just not the best.
I think it is that little off-kilter, uneasy, playful feeling about it that just makes it more so than other versions of like just standard overworld Zelda overworld theme, where when I get back into the area I'm like, yeah, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, sweet. Let's okay. This one is kind of interesting. I'm going to pick Minish Cap. And the reason I say it's interesting is because I genuinely love the music from Minish Cap. I think it's beautiful, but it's the sound chip for the Game Boy Advance, and that's just what we've always had, and we'll always have it as, even on the Switch, Nintendo Shop, the Nintendo Online. Like, it's just always gonna sound like that, and it hurts my ears. It just genuinely hurts my ears a little bit, even though I love it. I think it's good. But I just have a hard time listening to it, and that it just docks at points. It
sounds good. It just makes my ears bleed.
Thank you. This is correct.
It's exactly what I was. Yes,
but no, it's like
yeah.
I always think like, oh, I want to listen to Minish Cap music because I love that melody, but then I listen to it and I'm like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm an apologist for Minish Cap's sound and music and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it does have a great soundtrack. I don't think the main overworld theme is one of the standouts. No. It's definitely one of the lowest of the bunch. And it's kind of a shame because like that sound, the sound chip Game Boy Advance, the limitations, they can use that in ways that sound really cool with certain instrumentation. Like for example, even like other themes in the game, like Minish Village.
Yes, Minish Village incredible. Is fantastic.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, let's adapt the main overworld theme, and it's just like they don't really do much with it at all.
It doesn't work. And it's so vanilla.
Just sounds flat. Yeah. Yeah, it's not one of the best.
It's not the best.
Probably lower. I'd say definitely C or D.
What do you think, Goo?
I don't want to say it's like horrible, but I don't see anything on here that I would say is like below it. So I'm for putting it in D.
I'm fine putting it in D.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
D.
And you guys, I don't know. I don't have anything else to add. I think you all.
That hurts me to see that, but it makes sense.
Diminish.
D, more like dang. Sounds like crap.
Wow. That was great. Hey, Goo, your turn.
Let's go ahead and do. Let's do Breath of the Wild.
Really? Okay. What are your thoughts on Breath of the Wild?
Because that's one that's interesting. Because like we were talking about like a playlist that we found, and it has like riding a horse and like field, but like there's other parts of the map that like where you're in the overworld of the game, and there's different, there's like themes for not just like field, there's like up on a mountain and all that stuff. So like for me it's hard to like, this is why I think it can't just be like, oh, we're talking about a track, you know what I mean?
Agreed. It's the overworld themes of the game.
And actually, considering that, I think that it's awesome the way the game works. Man, maybe I should pick this too soon because
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I want to put it in S tier because I love the way the game blends the different types of music together.
Yes.
I like how you can be in an area and there is just sort of that field theme, like the more chill field theme, but you can start to hear things like Ravio's accordion playing.
Ravio's accordion
Ravio's what's that?
Cass.
Cass. I got
Cassio.
Ravio.
I love that. I was like, yes, Ravio.
Yeah, yeah. The accordion Rito.
This is a epic fail moment on my part. Cass would be a good racer in Zelda Kart, though.
What's Zelda Kart? I don't know.
But you know what I mean, though. So like,
it's this hot new game.
I'm almost thinking of it more or less of like the theme and the overall like soundscape of Breath of the Wild. Yes. I think is awesome, and the way those, when you get close to a tower, this crazy ethereal music starts playing. Yes. I know that's more like that's the tower theme, but like
I consider it the overworld theme still.
You almost don't notice it sometimes.
Well, that's the thing,
and all of a sudden the
100%.
Vibe has just changed, and the game is really good at that of just like changing the vibe on you and you're just like all of a sudden you're like,
yeah.
Whoa.
What's not to go off on a tangent, but Breath of the Wild's music is probably the most well thought out they've ever done their music in the whole series. Because honestly, the Breath of the Wild in the game is fully represented by the music. Because music in the game represents life, like in all forms. When you're just in a big open field, you just hear the occasional like little piano ditties, like super tiny. Mm-hmm. But then the second you're going by like actual life forms, or you're in a village, or a dragon is coming by, or enemies, what happens? You get music. And the music is representative of what you're going through, what areas you're in, and like it's so sparse when you're just out in the wild, but that's because you're supposed to hear the wind. You're supposed to hear the footsteps and rustling through the grass and the rain and the little animals running by, because that is literally the Breath of the Wild. Like that's the point of the game. It's you're supposed to be exploring, and the fact that the music is not ba 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 the entire time, like that would be dreadful. Yeah. That would not be an enjoyable experience. And the music choices they made are just so perfect. They really brought out the point of the game being exploration and discovery. Weird, one might say.
And if you're Wild exemplifies weird.
If you're ever curious, go look up the video on YouTube by Scruffy. His name is Scruffy. Breath of the Wild sound design. It'll show you a lot of really cool details that you probably have never noticed about the sound design in the game. But I get emotional about it. But the most amazing representation of the music in the game for me is that the most epic music you get in the entire game, as far as like success and like really feeling like a hero, is the final cutscene, as life has finally made its way back and the Silent Princess are growing up along the hill, and you finally get the full overworld Zelda theme as the credits begin, right? And that's just what it is. Like the music is representing that more life is coming to Hyrule. And it's just so good. Anyway, I think it's an S tier. I'm sorry. I can nerd out about this all day.
Well, Corey didn't seem to like this.
So I'm not going to fight you guys on this, because I just kind of want to say my piece, because it's
yes.
This is the most not fitting example on this list, because it's either S tier or D tier, and there's no in between. Because I am not one of those people
I know
that
exactly
think,
what you mean. Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that thinks Breath of the Wild had bad music. We've talked about this on here. Gooey, you and I have talked about it on multiple occasions about how intentional the sound and music design of Breath of the Wild is. And I think it's just almost not fair to compare it to other overworld themes because yes, there are like some overworld themes, like tracks that play in certain parts, but there are so like dozens of individual jingles and little trills that happen when you're doing specific things. Like there are two different tracks for when you're around a shrine. There's the tower theme. There's a day field theme, a night field theme, a day riding theme, a night riding theme. There's the dragon theme and the stable theme, which seamlessly blend into your experiences, and everything's slightly changed depending on where you are. And it's like, it's so much more of a ambient music experience thing that I almost like don't even think it fits to rank it along with these. So like if I'm thinking just, part of me wants to say, if I'm thinking of this just from a music perspective of like songs I like to listen to, this would probably go straight to the bottom because I wouldn't play any of these songs unless I'm like studying or I just want ambient music noise in the background, really.
I would play them.
But on the flip side of that, it's far and away the most effective at like making you feel the way that you should when exploring the ruins of a shattered Hyrule. So it makes sense to put it in S, and it also makes sense to put it in D in my mind. But if we're on the track of like it's about the experience and the way that the music is incorporated into your being in the overworld, then
we have already been talking about that. Just say,
I think I like that idea.
There's three people. We all have different views of the list, you know.
Because I think about it in a similar way. Like one thing we can talk about later is Twilight Princess's overworld theme. Part of what's cool about it is, you know, it's dynamic, right? It will change if you're fighting an enemy, right? So like that ties into the actual experience. Like listening to that in track, doesn't it? Am I wrong here that it changes?
It doesn't flow together naturally like in Wind Waker or something. It just changes to like the overworld music fades out and the combat music fades in.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like Okay, never mind.
No, I think people kind of complain about that because, like, when it's playing in Midna's Desperate Hour, when it's playing Midna's Lament,
that's right.
It'll be playing the sad piano music, and like you run past an enemy, and for a second
it keeps going out.
Midna's music goes away, and it's like dun, 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 dun. You know,
that is a little annoying.
Yeah.
I thought.
Anyways,
no, yeah. It does. Yeah. So the MIDI of that game, it is dynamic. So depending on what's going on, the theme will change.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point I was trying to make is like sitting down and listening to the track, like where it has those parts, is different than fundamentally like experiencing that.
True.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that's why it's kind of unfair to go like, yeah, like the enemy is attacking you theme in Breath of the Wild is part of it, but that's just goes to like how they design the game and how effective the game is. So it's
also I will say I'm currently listening to the night riding theme from Breath of the Wild, and how dare you not want to listen to this?
You get the main theme.
Because it is absolutely beautiful with that violin playing the main theme, like strung out.
That's something I love, is that like in instances where you're doing an activity or you're in a specific location that is evocative of like something different than just general exploration, you do get little hints of actual melodies. Like in the day riding theme, it plays a little bit of Zelda's Lullaby. In the night riding theme, it plays a little bit of the main theme. When you're at the ruins of Temple of Time, you get the super slowed down Temple of Time, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is with the Breath of the Wild soundtrack is that everything is just the really slowed down version of what we already know. Like the house theme and even the overworld theme itself is just so slow and strung out. Rito Village.
Slow. Yeah.
It makes sense because that's what it's.
That's what I mean. It's like that's like frustrating to listen to, but also that is like so 100% exactly how you're supposed to feel in a sparse, broken overworld where you're only finding little pieces of civilization, you know?
Yeah. So S tier?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, S tier, yeah.
But no, Corey, I totally understand what you're saying. Like, obviously the music nerd in me loves all the design, but coming from like a straight music, like just listening to it perspective, I can see how that's frustrating because you don't like, you're like, where, like, give me more, give me something. Yeah. Which is why Terrytown, another representation of how life equals music in that game. Each time you invite more people there and more people come, the music builds and it becomes bigger, and Terrytown is perfect. You can listen to that all day. Like, Terrytown is incredible.
For sure.
But it's because it's a little more upbeat. It's a little more, got more stuff going on, you know.
Yeah. That's the last thing I want to say about Breath of the Wild is that, like, so many people say that it doesn't have good music or it has bad music because so much of the game is spent in the overworld. So much of what you're hearing is that perfectly curated trills and little, you know, ambient pieces and stuff that are meant to influence that stuff that they don't realize. All of the other locations that have actual themes are bangers. It's banger after banger.
Literally every song in the game is perfect. So
yeah,
to all the people out there hating on the music in Breath of the Wild, screw you, get a life. Like, complain about something else.
All right,
moving
it's my turn, I think.
On. Do we want to talk about Twilight Princess just because we kind of already did a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's do it. Twilight Princess.
Because I do kind of actually have that gripe. Because Midna's theme, although technically not an overworld theme, is used in the overworld, and the battle theme does get really obnoxious the way it kind of comes in.
It interrupts, yeah.
However, Hyrule Field in Twilight Princess is pretty BA. It's a good song.
I love it. Some people think it's overrated, which, like, I could also understand. Just kind of because you hear it a lot, and
you do hear it a lot.
Particularly, what I love about it is, like, it is not only is it the overworld theme, it's the main theme of Twilight Princess.
It is.
It's the same melody, the same motif that you hear used in Midna's Lament, in Ballad of Twilight, in Prince Rallis is Saved, like in so many songs throughout the entire soundtrack, and this is like
a motif is there for a reason, you know.
Yeah. This is like it in its most realized bombastic form. It's like, bam, here we go. This is it, Twilight Princess, baby. Yeah. And just the track of the day theme in general, it's probably one of the longest loops on this list.
It
like,
is.
It's not. It's
looking at it. It's very
not
long.
like. Yeah, it's not like some of the other ones where it's like a 30-second loop and then it plays again. It's like, it's pretty long, and it goes into different sections. And I think that's what you were saying, Goo. I think depending on like where you are and what you're doing, it'll like bring you into a different section of that track.
Yeah, so there's like a section where, if like you're fighting enemies, it starts going like like a long in time.
Yeah.
It transitions,
Okay. Yeah.
And then like once you get out,
which
of
is
combat,
similar to Breath
like,
of the Wild. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
maybe
but
I was
in
just thinking
case,
of Midna's Lament then.
It's in Midna's Lament where that happens because it's different.
You're right, because I can picture like the added beat and like the
like the I don't know. There's something about it that never stuck with me, but it's always been. I think we've talked about this before. Where like I can't quite describe what it is.
You're not it's the uncanny valley for the sounds.
Maybe that's what it is.
Twilight
like
Princess, right?
I think it's just down to the specific MIDI. Like I don't like. I don't know what it is because it's like Wind Waker, also a GameCube game. I love how the MIDIs sound, and in this, but I'm not like enough of a music person to describe it. I think Uncanny Valley is the best I can think, where it's like.
Well, because it's like so closely trying to emulate real instruments, but there's just something about it that sounds synthetic.
Is it like it came out? It was a Wii game, and around the same time you had Mario Galaxy. which was like fully
That's
orchestrated.
fair. That's fair.
And I know it's like it's not fair to say like, oh, this is like not like this, but like I think it just forever like wired my brain to think of it as sounding like like close but not close enough to like real orchestra music. But I don't know. It's like it's a thing where I'm it's like totally like personal, like I can't even describe it. It's like I can describe why I love a lot of these other music things or don't like them, but I just can't really put words to it.
I actually totally get this. No, exactly. And I think part of it is the instrumentation is slightly strange on it because you do have like 7 different types of horn that take the melody at different parts, which is a little frustrating for me. I'm like, pick a iconic sound and stick with it.
Pick a lane, people.
And then like even the beginning of the song, it goes from like a clarinet type sound to like, and then it finishes that same line with a flute sound. I don't know. It's hopping over the instrumentation.
Yeah, that's it.
All over the place. That was beautiful, Corey. It's just like it's a little much. It's like it's trying to do too much. I do like it though, but there is something about it that's a little like, what's going on?
I pretty much agree with what everyone says about like the music of the game, how it's written, and like the melodies and stuff like that. Because like I've listened to orchestrated versions of different songs from the game, and I'm always like, oh, this is like sweet, and there are
beautiful
good. Yeah, I like.
It's like when have you ever like listened to like a song on the radio? It's like a pop song or something, and they're using a sample of like electric guitar, and it's so clearly just like from some sort of like audio archive, and it's super compressed, and you're like, that's not a real guitar.
Yeah. And then someone else does a song where they hired Slash, and Slash came in.
And
that's Mario
and
Galaxy.
Slash ripped, and Slash is on Mario Galaxy, I heard.
I'll also say, if the main overworld theme of Twilight Princess was the E3 trailer music, it would be S tier. It's literally the best Zelda song that's ever been written. They're like,
I love it.
It'd have been too much.
That's so I can't.
It's just so good. I remember downloading that on LimeWire and listening to that over and over and getting a virus on my parents' computer, and I got grounded, and it was worth it for that song. But I don't know. I think I would personally put Twilight Princess in B.
I'm okay with B.
Probably above Majora's Mask, though.
I probably would have pushed for A, but I'm okay with B. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
One last thing that I did want to mention that I haven't mentioned yet is the overworld night theme. I think the perfect juxtaposition of the day theme, because it's just like na 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 na. And then my favorite part about it, and this is actually something I love about Twilight Princess, is just like when you're not doing bombastic, crazy, epic stuff, just sitting in the overworld at night, looking at the crazy, surreal wall of Twilight and hearing the little samples that sound like Malon singing.
Yeah.
It's like, oof.
Yeah, the night theme is definitely better than the day theme, in my opinion.
I agree. I like it more.
I think high B for me. High B. Good job. Cool. Corey, I'll let you actually pick one, because that was kind of like going along since we already
Corey, should we do...
Yeah, what was that, Goo?
Well, since we mentioned it, why don't we do Link's Awakening? No, just kidding.
Well, let's do like a roundup here. Let's do both of the Oracle games.
Oh, sure. I need to pull them up so I can listen to them.
I feel differently about them, though. Different tiers.
That's fine.
But we can do them together.
Well, Oracle of Seasons has to be lower because... Are we counting Subrosia? Because that theme is god-awful. That theme makes me want to scream.
I would say... I mean... We're not counting villages, right? Because villages... We're not counting Breath of the Wild villages. We're not counting Kakariko Village.
Subrosia is like
a
land.
But like...
It's like... Technically, it's an underworld.
I guess it is technically...
It's a full...
It is. Okay, that's fair.
I'll go with you guys. If we are counting it, like at least a full letter grade below.
Well, I think it is a letter grade below because, okay, we can kind of include it because there's sort of a dual worlds theme situation.
Okay, yeah.
Because in Ages, it's you go back in time and it's got this kind of slowed down, more like chilled out version of the theme. It's almost hard to talk about this without talking about Link's Awakening as well, actually.
That's fair.
Let's just do all three. No.
I mean, maybe.
I know. You're right. I was listening back to him, and the main theme for Seasons and the modern day of Ages, I don't think it's exactly the same. I think it's slightly I think it's like ever so slightly faster. Like they changed the pitch like just barely. I think, unless I was hearing wrong.
Ages just has a slower version for the past.
No, yeah, for the past one, but I mean even just the main.
No, I'm pretty sure the main one is the same, and I think it's the same track from Link's Awakening.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Okay.
So, and I think what's cool about that song in general is, and it's kind of what's cool about Link's Awakening is, it hits you with this big. Right away, it's like this intensely hyped version of the main
it's like
theme.
sped up, yeah.
But then it goes into like kind of the Zelda theme there for a second, and you're like, whoa, okay. But then it takes another like curveball in the third part of the song to like this totally new melody.
Yeah. Which is fun. But I mean, it's similar to like what Terminate Field does, honestly. It like takes the song that we already knew and it's like, but wait, But
wait, there's more.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just always find this one so like hype. It just gets me. I don't know if it's like one of the best, if it's the best ever. But
I'm listening to the Link's Awakening theme right now, and I'm like, it's hyping me up.
Wait, okay. So go to the Oracle.
It's exactly the
Oracle
same.
one.
It's exactly the same.
I don't think that's right.
It is. No, it is.
I don't think so.
No.
I think you're both wrong.
The Holodrum Labyrinth, it's literally exactly the same.
How do we want to rank these?
So I don't know, but I will say Seasons does deserve to be a rank below because it really it is quite dreadful. Who even came up with the freaking Subrosia? Can I say melody? Is that even a melody?
So do we want to just put Seasons in C? Because there's a nice open spot for it right now.
C for Seasons.
All right. C for Seasons.
And that's because we're factoring in Subrosia.
Which sucks so
Actually,
hard.
I kind of like that song now.
So is there...
That's
my ringtone.
It
is. That's the sound that I like to wake up to every morning.
It would make you get out of bed and turn it off. That's
for sure.
Is there... Okay, so...
Is the theme drunk?
You guys...
That sounds like...
So you're claiming that the Link's Awakening one is the same as the Seasons one. Okay, sure, I'll buy that. Is there anything that's in the Link's Awakening one that is not? Is that third section in the Oracles one, or is the Oracles one just the regular main theme?
Yeah. Yes, it's there.
I need confirmation.
I'm listening to it, and I'm pretty sure it's the same.
No, I mean that extra part.
Yeah.
It's in both?
The weird part where it like goes away from the melody at the end, yeah.
Okay.
From like it's not the original. I mean, do you want me to send you the file or
no? The part that I was saying where it's like da na 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 na.
Yeah.
Da na 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 na.
Yes, that's in there. That's in there.
I was just asking if that was in the Oracles one too, because naturally I just want to put Link's Awakening higher than both of them, but I can't do that, I guess, because they're the same.
How about this? We did get a remake of Link's Awakening, and the music in that is so good.
That's true.
Really good. To be fair, the
nice
original, like the 8-bit music originally is so good and so cute and so fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
But like the new music is like 10 out of 10, like so good. So maybe we could put Link's Awakening above Ages just because it got a remake and it got a little bit of extra hype.
Let's put it in A. And let's put Ages in
Perfect.
B?
A for Awakening and B for
Awakening.
Bages.
I don't know. I like Ages more than maybe. What if we?
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to put them both in A.
No.
If we're doing same tier, I would say both in B because I think they're both just good versions of the main theme. Like not anything crazy.
You don't want to put anything in S. Okay.
Not of these two, no.
Okay, fine. Let's do this.
Not of these.
The searching for the sword theme in Link's Awakening counts as Overworld. That's an Overworld
If it
song.
does, it's going in S tier.
It's an Overworld song. It plays in the Overworld, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the whole game is the Overworld.
Does that count? Does that count?
Know.
Nah, that doesn't count.
Maybe. I don't know. This is fine. Let's go with this.
I agree. This is good. We're fine.
Yeah,
we're solid.
This is good.
We're
fine the way we are.
All
right, what 3 are we doing next?
Okay, next we're going to be doing Triforce Heroes with Spirit Tracks and 4 swords. 3 that have the exact same music. But no, I do want to do Triforce Heroes. Because I think the music in this game is genius. It is
Triforce Heroes, you said?
Yes. The Triforce Heroes music.
Genius. What is the Overworld theme, though?
What is the Overworld
smart.
theme?
Well, what would you consider the Overworld? Would you consider the Overworld standing around at the castle?
I wasn't even going to consider this game, but I guess it's a mainline.
Yeah, I can't think of like. I don't know if
it's not in the video that we have.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like we can't include it because
actually,
each level, it's like there's like the Woodlands has the Woodlands theme, so it's like
sure.
It's almost like those are like different stages, I don't think there is really Overworld.
I don't think there is an Overworld in Triforce.
There's not. I mean, it's all level based.
There's a hub and then levels, so.
Yeah, I think it doesn't count.
Okay, we won't put it on the list, but I will say the music in this game is very well done. Good job, because there's a different track for whether you're in a totem or not, whether you're on the bottom, middle, or top of the totem. It's so smart.
There's 8-bit versions.
Yeah, it is.
There's 8-bit versions if you're playing the downloaded version of the game and you don't actually own it. It's so smart. Anyway, we're not gonna rank it, but. Props
Just
to
wanted
you.
to talk about
Shout out.
One of the best parts of the game.
Shout out Triforce Heroes.
Well, in that case, I will grab a different game and we'll go with the original Legend of Zelda.
Oh baby.
Laws.
OG.
There is something to be said about how incredibly epic they made you feel on the Nintendo Entertainment System. With a little square green dude walking around some pink and green paths. Like, pretty dang impressive. We got the original theme. And it, honestly, it still sounds good to me. I'll be real. Almost nothing makes me feel better.
It holds up.
Yeah, it sounds pretty great.
And I mean, everyone knows this.
It's pretty...
This is the song that everyone knows.
It's hard to live up to how iconic it is.
It's true.
It is. It is obviously the most known song in the series. Like,
yes.
If you were to poll the fans like we do every year, it's not like the fan favorite song, I think, but
it usually performs very well though.
It does. But it is the most. I think you can't argue. It's the most iconic Zelda song. Obviously, it's like it's the theme to the series, which we've talked about. The other ones are different interpretations of that, but this one, it's not just that it's the first one. It's that it's so simplistic. There's only three sound tracks on the sound chips or whatever on the NES. I don't really know how it works, but then there's the one percussion one. And in those like 3 sound waves or whatever, it forms like, it's a simple song, but it forms almost like such a complex like melody and whatever you call like the background music and all these different things like moving at once, like such an intricate song that you can almost like feel like what an entire orchestra would be doing. And like when you hear it now orchestrated, it's so satisfying to hear those moments hit, like when they hit those. And it's because the song is composed so well.
It is
like just for like basically 3 instruments, you know what I mean? It's 3 instruments that sound. It's not because I've heard the orchestrated versions now. It's 3 instruments that to me sound like a whole orchestra, you know?
It's really impressive that this was able to be done on the NES. Like, if we're being honest, it sounds so good.
It's honestly, like, I was just listening back to the ones that we were just talking about, like the Game Boy Color ones and the Game Boy ones compared to this. I think this is far and away better.
It is.
Just, like, the way, and like the instrumentation, like I feel like it is more effective, but also like the way that the notes string together, it sounds so much more fluid than like the Game Boy sound, and I like it so much better. And I honestly, now that I'm looking at the list, I don't think, well, we're factoring in the Switch Link's Awakening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I would definitely put it above any of the other. I would put it on A tier, is what I'm saying.
I would put it S.
I would argue that we're putting to put it in S because of its follow-up. Personally, I would say that this should go in S tier.
Okay.
Is that cool?
I'm outvoted, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
that's fine.
I think it's too iconic. It's too iconic to me.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's very understandable.
So do we want to talk about?
Can't argue with that.
Yes,
Zelda 2.
The game that came in and was like, okay, we're gonna take the same song and then we're just gonna mess around with it.
Remix.
Remix. I don't think it sounds anything. I mean, it starts off the same.
It starts off the same.
Exactly the same. And then you're like, wait, what's this extra little rhythm going on?
It takes a turn and it's like, wait a minute.
And then, it's just like completely different.
The part of the reason I wanted to put the original in A tier is because I like Zelda 2's overworld theme better.
Okay.
I think it's so... I love Zelda 2's overworld theme.
I do too.
Unironically. I think it's fantastic. It feels like the Zelda theme, the main theme of Legend of Zelda, like, maybe it's just because, like, obviously we've been Zelda fans for so long. We've heard that theme so many times in so many different iterations in so many ways. It does get a little stale. I don't think it's a fresh, new experience every single time I hear the Zelda overworld theme. However, this feels like a super fun iteration of that theme, but also it just sounds more like a fun epic fantasy adventure to me for some reason.
It does, yeah.
I think it's because the main Zelda theme is so iconic. I hear it, and I don't think fun, cool like medieval adventure. I think that's a Zelda theme.
Yeah.
And when I hear this, I'm like, oh, I'm going on a sweet, fun, cool adventure, you know?
Sure.
It's quaint.
And it's got the
there is one part in the song that gets super muddy because there's just too much happening.
I think that's the same part Corey's describing.
I love that.
There's a
part.
little...
It's excellent.
It's too much for me. But I do actually love this song. So, I don't know. I'm a little torn because I think I like the original Legend of Zelda better because of how iconic the song is. But I will agree that it is cool that they, before that became like the iconic song of the whole series, the second game, they're like, oh, we're going to make it the entire thing is just going to be different than the rest of the series that we're going to make going forward. But here we go, you know.
There's something actually really cool about how pretty much that there's only like 5 songs in the game or whatever, but they're all so good.
Yeah,
and
they are.
I think they're all like preserved so well because they haven't. I don't think any of them have been reused. So like,
other than
Smash
Bros.
They have.
Smash, yeah.
They have been reused.
What ones have been reused?
Well, it's actually in the Japanese version, but the combat theme from the Japanese version is it's the mini boss battle theme from Minish Cap.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, like, you know, you don't ever hear that.
There.
That town theme is so good. The temple
theme
is so good, and it's
I mean, Temple is iconic now, so everyone knows Temple theme
for sure.
I still think I actually just think in general the like arrangement of the original Zelda theme is better. But I this one rivals it for me, and just in terms of what I like. But I still feel like the other one is better. But
dude, I'm listening to it now, and that part that I was talking about, it just goes so undeniably hard. It's incredible.
It does. It bothers me a little bit
because
I think it's pushing the system a little bit, but that's fine. I mean, it's a good song. No. It's a good song.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the drop in Dancing Dragon Dungeon when it's like.
What are we saying?
Exactly like that.
I think A tier personally.
I was gonna say top of A tier.
Okay.
But Corey, what are your thoughts?
He wants S.
It doesn't matter.
You want it up here? You want it above Breath of the Wild?
I don't want it.
No, because it should reflect the groups. Yeah. I'm fine consenting to the opinion of my co-hosts because you guys outweigh me.
If we put it
That's
here,
what this is. It's a joint list.
If we put it here, what does the tier list look like?
It looks like a P.
It sure does.
Oh, you sold me.
What can I say? That was me. That was me.
Okay.
Go Goo.
Okay, we're not doing Four Swords Adventures, right? Or that has an overworld, I guess, sort of.
It does.
Not really. It's its own stage. Let's not talk about it. I don't.
Yeah, we don't have to. Nah. I changed my mind.
Let's diss this.
Let's not.
Yeah.
Well, and either way, like it's just another remix of the main theme, and it's one of the weakest ones, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, all these are really good that are left. You know what? Let's. Spirit Tracks. Let's do Spirit Tracks.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, baby.
I think this is considered one of the best songs in the game. Right?
Yeah.
Is
one of the most popular for sure.
So good.
I think it is. I think it is really good. I like that when the train is chugging.
Oh yeah.
It fits in with it, and the song already kind of has that, with the tambourine.
With the pan flute.
Yeah, instrumentation's really good.
This is actually a song I listen to regularly, like quite often.
This is a great song.
It's
undeniably
really good.
A great song.
It's still not one of my favorites, but I acknowledge that it's really good. Like personally, I would put it in like A tier. But if you guys,
it's not S tier.
Oh my god, you guys!
I think it's A tier.
You're killing me.
I could be talked up to S.
Okay, Corey, what's your argument?
It just is one of my favorite overworld themes. Like it's not. This is one that I actually like. For the amount of times that I've heard it and we've heard it, this actually is one that has not gotten stale for me yet. Every time I hear it, every time it starts up, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. And there's to give it an extra little bonus point. I think there might just be one or two sections in the game. I know when you first go into like the snowy part, there's like a cursed version. It's called Cursed Overworld, and it's kind of like a more dangerous, like not happy sounding version of this song, which I also really love. I don't know. And talking about like we mentioned it for Twilight Princess too. Like this is another one of those where like the melody remains the same. I love that Nico's just jamming out over here.
I think it's like perfectly. I'm listening to it too, and it's like I think he's.
I think this is an S tier song.
Yeah, good.
It's so good.
This is another one where the melody remains the same, but the loop is relatively long, so you're not. Yeah. It doesn't feel like you're listening to the same thing over and over and over and over, especially in a game where undeniably like there's a lot of kind of like wait time in between locations, and like that's a perfect
one of my favorites because I associate with a part of the game that I don't personally really enjoy doing.
Okay,
so the experience plays into there. You know?
Let's be honest, like this is the
song is the only reason factor. It's the only reason it's okay. I think Spirit Tracks is famously saved by its music. So
I actually honestly think this song has the power to make people like the train section of that game. I think it's so good that it can trick people into thinking they're having fun when they're riding the trains.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
I actually think that's probably true. You could probably ask a bunch of people that are Spirit Tracks fans that are like, I love the trains, but really they just love that song.
Okay. Wow. You heard, I didn't say that. You said it.
That actually came straight out of Gooey's mouth.
Gooey, why would you say that about Spirit Tracks fans?
Let's put it in S.
It goes down to that like low section, and it's like, oh, am I the hero? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna keep riding this train, and I'll find out. Oh, is that a ghost floating next to me? Weird. It's like
I have no clue what section you're talking about, but yeah.
It's like
exactly.
It's like the very end of the track, but it's like right before it loops.
Oh, okay, yeah, when it calms down, yeah.
It's just like it's pretty and it's calming, and then it picks right back up. But one thing I did love is during the song, I would always blow my whistle in like specific parts of the song because it's like a callback. It would be like the ba 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 da 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 do do. I would always do it like right in the rhythm with it. It was always so fun.
That says a lot about that.
I was like into the music the whole time. Anyway, it's great. It's a good song. Good song.
Yeah.
Corey.
All right, that's me then. Let's do. Okay. I wanted to go off of that and do the Phantom Hourglass Great C one, but I feel like we can't talk about that without talking about Wind Waker Great C.
Oh, sorry.
So maybe we should just talk about both of them.
We'll just do them together. Yeah. Yeah. Because one is obviously way better than the other.
The Wind Waker one is awesome. The Phantom Hourglass one is not.
It's so bad.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like it.
It's because of it's 100% just because of like being on the DS. But like it's
I think it sounds
it doesn't help. It doesn't help. You know what? I think being on the DS definitely makes it worse, but it doesn't help that it's like direct sequel to Wind Waker on an inferior console, an inferior version of the song, and an inferior sailing mechanic. It's just a perfect recipe for like whenever I hear that, it sounds like a cheap imitation of Wind Waker's Great C, which is like unfair because it's not that bad of a song standalone, but like comparatively, it's F.
And here's the thing,
you know,
the portion where it's actually doing like the vamp, like the do 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 do, like that part is pretty good for Phantom Hourglass. But when it goes into like the main melody, it's like bam 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 bam. It's just like not good. It's awkward, and it's like, no, just give me Wind Waker. Because like
the Wind Waker I personally like that it tries to do something else.
I mean, look at Zelda to Zelda 2, and then look at this.
The melody is different. It starts. It's like Zelda.
Yeah, it's like a less exciting one.
Well, yeah,
it's like a sleepy version of the Great C, which is already a pretty calm song.
Yeah.
I think Phantom Hourglass is C tier. I don't think
it's
it's
C tier.
C for the Great C.
I would be okay with C tier.
That's fine with me.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't know.
Well, it's just considerably worse than Wind Waker.
Okay, well, where do we put Wind Waker?
Well, where do you want to
I would put Wind Waker in... I think I would put it in A.
Yeah?
Okay. I mean, I think it's pretty freaking sweet. I just feel like so are, like, pretty much the rest of the ones we're going to talk about. It's, like, hard... It's, like... We're comparing, like, amazing songs to each other, I feel.
Which is fair. That's when we're comparing Zelda to Zelda, it's going to be top
there are
heavy.
a lot of great overworld themes.
I feel I think high A sounds good for Wind Waker. It's close to S to me, but it's hard. It's hard to,
I would personally put it in a low S, but high A makes sense too, honestly.
Yeah, I would say A.
Yeah.
This is one that's like, and I've played a ton of Wind Waker. We're playing it right now. This is one that I don't get sick of, but it, like, after you hear the loop a certain amount of times, it just kind of fades to background noise.
You don't really hear it after
Not
a
as
while.
exciting. Yeah.
It's an awesome song, though.
And
it is a pretty great
my
song.
main gripe with this game is that the night theme doesn't exist. It literally just stops playing music at night, which is very unfortunate. It's like they just ran out of time and forgot to write music for nighttime.
I don't mind that in certain spots.
It's kind of before that's the norm too. Like Ocarina of Time is similar, I don't know if that's enough to knock it against it for me.
No, it is just like, it's definitely like, I thought in the HD version maybe they would have like done a little something, but like it's just
they did in the HD one. They did like do like some re-recordings of some of the songs and like change them up just a little bit.
The main theme is slightly different, very slightly, but it's re-recorded. But it's beautiful. I think Wind Waker, and I mean, even though it's definitely not the best song in the game, The Great Sea, but like Wind Waker, just overall, in my opinion, has S tier music. If looking at it as a whole, The Great Sea is not its strongest song, but it is the iconic song of the game. So it's like, it's good. It's really good. For an overworld theme, it's gripping. It's like, we're going to go on a big adventure and save our sister. Oops, we're the hero of time or the winds or whatever. But, it's
definitely epic seafaring adventure music.
It is. It really is. It's good, very well done. Yeah. Whose turn is it? Corey?
Cool beans. It's you. It's you, buddy.
Oh, it's me? It's me. Well, let's do Skyward Sword. Because I'm trying to think what's considered the overworld theme. Is it just the sky? Okay.
Yeah.
Just the sky?
The sky music is really good.
I think so.
It is.
Oh, and it's fully orchestrated with the harp going in there. Oh.
Yes, the sound of the instruments in the game hits what I feel like they should. Yeah.
Well, because it's fully orchestrated. Like, it's actually like, it's music. What the Wii could do. It's beautiful. It's epic. I know a lot of people really do not like the flying in Skyward Sword. From day one of Skyward Sword, I was like, yes, this is my favorite thing ever. I loved flying around the sky and just being on the loft wing. I think a lot of people don't appreciate that, but I personally love it. And then when it goes into the soft part, where it's just like,
there's something majestic, almost like Disney. Like
it is. It's very Disney. It's so Disney. But and then it just like picks back up, and it's like, it's epic, but it's just beautiful, and it's full of life, and I don't know.
That's one where it is better for me lifted from the game, because I don't like the flying as much. I pretty much associate it, like, at first it's like cool, but then eventually for me it just becomes like I'm commuting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it almost is like
commuting to the next area.
It's like traffic jam music.
You're commuting to the most epic soundtrack ever. It feels like I'm in my car waiting, and just like
One thing I will say about the overworld theme with this is it adds the snare drum when you're battling. When you have an enemy nearby,
it's got one of those.
It adds the snare drum, and it doesn't do anything to the melody. The melody just keeps going. The song just keeps doing what it's doing, but it gets that like oh, something's going on with the snare drum, and I think that's really cool. I do like that.
So, what do we think for placement? Because this is something that I especially felt early on with Skyward Sword soundtracks. I still kind of feel it somewhat, but not, definitely less so now. I feel like everything, the instrumentation is gorgeous. Everything sounds incredible, but not all of it is super memorable. And I think this theme, like, if you were to go to a regular, just a standard Zelda fan, and we're like, hey, can you hum the Sky theme? I think a good amount of people would probably be able to get the opening in the first 5 seconds, and then just, like, it's a really long...
It's far from a loop.
Yeah, but it just keeps going, and it's the same kind of melody, but it does a bunch of different stuff, and, like, it's...
In the video that
there are
have,
other songs
like 5 minutes long.
The other songs in that game, I feel like there are a bunch of better songs than it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I still do think it is a gorgeous song. So
you mean like when you collect all the tad tones? Doom doom dum 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 dum.
Love it. That's the best one.
That's actually that's the best song in all of Zelda, is collecting all the tad tones.
Tad tones.
Can we also put it in A tier?
I would put it in A, maybe like just below Wind Waker.
Cool with it.
Do you guys want to put it below reminds me of Adventure of Link?
I think it's similar to the Great Sea. It strikes me.
Yeah,
hits my ears similarly.
It really does. I think the Great Sea is better. Kind of what you brought up, Corey, is like people know that sound. Like people know that song, but it's because it is more of a loop than this is for sure. But I mean, it makes sense. It's just like it's a beautiful.
It's like
song.
a double-edged sword, because like it's like, hey, make it long and actually not looping, and then it's just like, this sounds gorgeous, but I can't remember all of it.
Yeah, is it iconic? I think people remember like the da 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 da, like the slow part. It's really pretty, and then people are like, it goes up, right?
People like a hook.
Yeah,
people like a hook that they can, a nice melody or riff that they can sink into their mind, and then
great song.
So we got like 2 left, basically.
Yeah.
Let's do Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time, cool.
This is one I wonder, because I feel like I hear different things said about this song. So like people would be like, oh, this is definitely, like, everyone considers this like not one of the better songs, and then other people say like, this is obviously one of the better songs. For me, this is one of, it might just talk about like what game you played when you were younger or whatever, but this game has stuck, or this song has stuck with me for so long, and it's one of the first ones that I felt like there's so many parts to this, like to this song, compared to everything that's come before it, like in some songs that come after it, like you listen, if you listen to it, there's all these random little bits that are just like, oh, where'd that come from? It starts do 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 do.
Yeah,
and you're like, what? You know, where did this come from?
Cute little instruments doing their own little trills.
It's like similar to what we were just talking about with Skyward Sword, except it's so much. Those little parts are so much more memorable.
Exactly.
I think it's all like memorable and iconic. And it's weird because it's like every time the next part comes, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this, but I know I can hum like every line.
It's literally like a full symphonic movement, but it's like super condensed. That's why it's so good, because it does have all those parts that are memorable, but they all work together, and it doesn't get annoying. Like you can just hang out in Hyrule Field, and it doesn't feel like you're listening to the same song over and over. You know,
and it like changes vibes a couple times, you know, it's like playful, like we mentioned that one part, but then there's like the part where it gets a little more. Yeah, it predates almost. It predates the Twilight Princess thing of like getting scary, but it's just like part of the song. You know what I mean? So
I mean, Twilight Princess definitely tried to recapture the magic of this song, but didn't do it. You know,
but I've recalled times where like, you know, I'm exploring and then I'm battling a P-hat and that part of the song does hit and it's like, oh man, you know what I mean?
Like, oh,
like
crap.
it's more random. It's not like as scripted, you know, but I don't know. It does. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's one of the most epic, majestic overworld themes ever. I would put it in S.
I think I'm a known Ocarina of Time, not hater, but like it's not my favorite Zelda game. Like I really like it. Obviously, it's a Zelda game, but there are other Zelda games I just like a lot more. And this is still one of my favorite Zelda songs ever. Like it's just because of like it tells a whole story in one song, and it's beautiful. For the N64, like way to go. Look at this compared to Phantom Hourglass that came out how much later?
The slow part, and it's like
so good. And it's the first one since Adventure of Link to like really go off and be its own like theme fully. Like you don't really hear any of the Zelda theme in it, and it doesn't even start with the, you know, the ba. It has like that a whole new bum 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 bum.
This song alone has to take up like 3/4 of the game's memory. Like there's so much going on. How did they do this in an N64 game? It's crazy.
There isn't like if you're looking at that like video we're looking at, there's not a game that rivals like its length until Twilight Princess,
which tried to just basically redo it.
Tries to do the same thing, yeah,
but didn't.
And then even after that, it's not until
Twilight Princess HD.
I think it's one of the longest overworld themes.
It is for sure. It's like 8 minutes long. So where do we want to put it?
I'm cool putting it in S. I'm also like I'm not one of the people, because there are definitely some people that hear this and they're like, this is the epitome of Zelda music. This is the best theme. This is far and away the best overworld theme. I don't feel that strongly about it, but like, I feel like undeniably it was like far and away the most compelling and advanced thing we had heard in a Zelda overworld at the time. It's like a marvel for the N64, and it holds up so well.
It does.
You know? I feel like you could plug it into so many different games and overworlds too, and it would work just as great. That's actually kind of something that like, because you only hear it in Hyrule Field and then like on the walk up to Death Mountain, right? Oh, and the section going to Zora's Domain.
Mm-hmm.
Just like those.
Lake Hylia.
Yeah. Yeah, Lake Hylia too.
Hear it. It's S tier. Let's do it.
It's very
where are we putting it in S tier? I know that we don't normally do it that way, but like I've been kind of.
I think it can be at the bottom of it. It's fine. I like it better than Spirit Tracks personally.
I do too. Spirit Tracks is like a banger that I could listen to over and over, but this is better.
I'd have Zelda theme as number 1 right now, but that's just me.
Well, Breath of the Wild staying number 1. So
okay.
I'm in control of the cursor. So, well, we basically have one more game, which is Link to the Past / also Four Swords, because I think it's literally exactly the same, right?
Swords doesn't count.
So we're not talking about Four Swords.
Don't bring that into this equation.
I was like,
no, now you just kind of ruined it, because now I'm thinking about Four Swords music and I'm just getting mad.
No.
Can
Don't even.
I just say where I would place this before we even talk about it?
Do it.
S tier.
Really?
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, for sure.
Really? I had no idea.
Being facetious.
And here's... Oh, okay. All right, let's just put it there and not talk about it. No, we got to talk about it.
No, we're gonna talk about it.
So I want to talk about the experience a little bit, because part of it is we've returned to Zelda top down. Zelda 3, we're back in action, and here's the classic Zelda theme.
That's the subtitle, Zelda 3,
back in action. Closely related to the Looney Tunes.
And yeah, you're in the overworld.
Not quite as compelling as Triforce of the Gods, but it works.
You're in the overworld, and it's playing the original Zelda theme. It's awesome. I actually like the original better still. But it's like the return. We're returning to that type of game. It's this big epic overworld theme. It's a classic. You can't go wrong. It sounds good. And then, after you do those first 3 dungeons, you get thrown into this other world.
Yep.
That it's like for the time, it's like kind of a twist. Here's this whole other mirror or like dark version of the world, and the dark world theme is like it's one of the most epic songs in all of Zelda.
It is.
And
it's
hard.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like almost, I don't know. It's been stated so much, but it's just the instrumentation, the different parts to it. It's amazing, And the way that comes after playing so much of the game with the overworld theme, the classic overworld theme it hits even hard. And then there's like so much more game where you're going back and forth, and yeah, I don't know, I love it.
Heck yeah. Yeah,
do you have any feeling?
I don't have any feelings about this actually. This is definitely one of my favorite versions of the main theme, too. Just because, again, just for being, it is just like the main overworld theme. But even for something on the SNES, you can clearly tell that they were inspired trying to do different types of instrumentation. They have like cymbal crashes in the song, and they have like little different it's kind of almost like an echo of the main theme and a slightly different instrumentation that's kind of like following behind it. That's like weaved into it, and they do a lot of cool stuff with that, that's just great on its own. But the Dark World theme is what really knocks this out of the park for me, because I honestly like the Dark World theme better than the main theme in all iterations.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the strongest themes. We've had this like daily debate or discussion a few times where it's like, what songs could replace the main theme? I think this song could easily replace the main theme for the entire series.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites in the whole series for sure. It's just so epic and bombastic, and it's like you said, Goo, it comes in at just the right time, especially for that game, because it's like you have your objective. You get the 3 medallions. You're going to fight Aghanim after you get the Master Sword, and you're like, this is it. I'm fighting the bad guy. And then it throws you into a completely new overworld with like 8 more dungeons, and it's like, oh, buddy, you thought you were done? You're not even close, my friend.
Nope.
And it's like this whole new, epic, scary world, and it's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know, chills.
So it's okay. It's like, all right.
Sorry, C tier.
We put it C.
Yeah, C. Yeah, like
C
low.
for dark.
Slow C. Yeah. No, I would agree. The Dark World theme especially, and I would agree. The only thing that rivals the Dark World theme is like the milk bar, Other than that, I mean, it's that could also be the main theme of Zelda.
Well,
but
I wanted to mention it back when you kind of did when we talked about the low rule theme of A Link Between Worlds. I almost appreciate that they did change it up and like go for a smaller vibe, because I feel like it would have been hard to convey that same epic feeling, you know what I mean, with like the type of instrumentation they were using in that game. Though it does get there at the end. I almost think that makes it more effective in that game,
For sure. Because it gives you it like recognizes like, all right, we're not going to live up to bombastic dark world. So let's do a little different take. And then by the very end, it gives you that bombastic, and it makes you like, yeah, this is what I was. This is like the old version.
The thing is, with the Link Between Worlds version, they kind of have this more like air of mystery. Like, wait a second, this is familiar? Like, this something's up. Like, what's going on? And then by the end, it's just like full dark world, full. Oh, it's so good. But yeah.
Because we're talking about it now, could I interest either of you in bumping A Link Between Worlds up to S? Do you think it's among the same caliber as the S tier ones? Because I think it's kind of in a weird, like, it's hard to live up to something that's as great as A Link to the Past, but it's so cleverly like banks off of that, you know? It's like, yeah, we know we can't live up to it, so we're going to do something a little different. And that something that's different is fun and cool and gets you used to that new thing so that they can hit you with the classic at the end. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is it.
Why do you have a ketchup packet?
Because in case we need to flip it.
Good point.
What if we flip it and we'll decide whether it gets moved up?
Yes, okay. Can we please?
Okay, heads, it's right. S. Tails, it's
Don't
A.
lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Wait, no, you gotta catch it.
You're a liar.
You gotta catch it and then whoosh.
Okay, all right. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, it's going up to S. It's going up to S. There we go.
Ketchup packet saves the day.
This made the list look all messed up. This is horrible.
I might be able to fix it. There we go.
Yeah. We made some steps.
It's a weird P, man.
Hey, don't judge the P.
We couldn't like edit, and like cut off games. You know what I mean? I guess it was too hard to.
That's our tier.
That's it. Those are all the games.
It just goes to show how strong some of these themes are,
Yeah, the music
is top loaded.
If Zelda's done anything right since the beginning, it's been the music. Like, that's one thing that the series is known for, and thank God, because
that's the only reason I like the series.
I agree. I hate the
everything
gameplay.
Else is trash, actually.
The lore sucks. I hate the gameplay. The visuals are but you know what? They got good music.
Just like the sounds.
That was a great list. That was a lot of fun.
I love Zelda.
That was good.
You guys like
Zelda? I'm looking over them, and I feel like everything fits into place now.
Specifically,
it's not
I
a P, but
Zelda 2.
Yeah, I do wish that was an S tier, but
it's fine. Okay, well, if we do that, can we also put Link's Awakening in S tier, and maybe
yes, Link? I was actually thinking of that too.
This is our final list.
Okay, everybody,
asterisks next to
you gotta like
you gotta
the video. Comment what your tier list would be.
Yeah,
but when you're done with that or before, go subscribe.
Or subscribe right now while you're thinking about it.
Wait,
the like
button.
But don't accidentally unsubscribe. That'd be bad.
Here's the order. Subscribe, first thing. Comment. Then comment.
No, you gotta like it.
No, like, comment, subscribe.
No, subscribe, subscribe, comment is the proper order.
Like, subscribe. Okay, I could buy that.
Why does anybody watch this?
Would now be a good time to tell you guys that I don't like Zelda Overworld music?
Well, I think we have to go.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Oh no! Oh no! Look out for Wannon.
Next time for Zelda Tennis.